Okay, we're here with
Hey
Chris and
guys.
Jessica from
Hi.
Salvation Army.
Hello.
Here in Italy, but Chris is actually American and Jessica is extremely European
Yes, I'm Swiss and Italian.
and you speak 5 languages.
Yes.
Just the 5.
Just the 5.
So we'll try and answer all the questions in 5 languages.
These guys have taken an alternative path,
They have
obviously,
taken, definitely.
and they're helping a lot of people who really need it and who are desperate, and you know, they make a big difference in these people's lives. So we would like to know what their answers to these questions are.
Yes. So guys, what are the pros of the life choice that you have taken?
Ooh, well, the pros is that we get to live in community with a lot of people, journey with them through the difficult times, but also through the joyful ones. So it turns every stranger into a family member. So I think that's lovely. And wherever we are in the world, we know that people are at home with us and we are at home with them.
Bello. Puoi dire in italiano?
La stessa cosa.
Più breve forse.
La cosa bella di questo cammino che abbiamo intrapreso è che ovunque siamo nel mondo abbiamo una famiglia e possiamo accogliere le persone e viaggiare con loro.
Sì, e condividere le cose belle e brutte.
Le cose belle e le cose brutte.
Fare un tribo. To be a united tribe is really beautiful. So, there.
Oh yeah. So Chris and Jessica, what would you say if there was one piece of wisdom that you've learned in your life that you would like to pass on to people? What would that be from your journey? There's no wrong answers.
One piece of wisdom I can offer is to just be honest about whatever, where you find yourself, struggles, dreams, because that's the starting point to be able to grow and move forward. Just being honest about where we find ourselves, and in my faith personally with Jesus, this was the key for me to bring my honest self and receive grace, and that same grace I can then share with others. So honesty, I would say, my piece of wisdom.
Beautiful, in italiano.
Allora, il mio pezzo di saggezza, di vivere in onestà, di condividere con gli altri e con il Signore chi sei davvero, tutte le sfide, i sogni, e ricevere la sua grazia per poter condividere con gli altri la grazia.
Beautiful. That was great.
Gracias,
So-
Jessica. Santos.
Do you have a different answer?
Maybe a piece of advice, know who you are. And that way when you encounter others, you're not reacting to them, but you're able to embrace them. And that helps a lot also, like on social media, because all of us live so much on social media. So instead of always reacting to what people are saying, you don't have to. If you know who you are, you don't have to live in a reactive way, but you can embrace who they are and you can welcome them into your way of living.
Wonderful. Allora di essere genuine.
Sì.
Anche italiano o no?
If you want.
Sì, semplicemente prendi il tempo di imparare a conoscere te stesso, così non reagisci sempre a quello che gli altri dicono, ma hai la capacità di semplicemente accettare che loro sono in un modo e tu sei in un modo diverso e sei più tranquillo anche sui social, invece di reagire a ogni commento che viene fatto, puoi lasciare passare ogni tanto.
Bellissimo. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Great guys, you guys are pros.
And we just got the easy question.
Oh, just that one. You asked us.
What's the meaning of life, guys? Tell us,
Why are we
please.
here?
What's the story?
Why do you think we're here?
For us, and the meaning of life is to know Jesus and become more like him. God has created us and he wants a relationship with us, and so Chris and I have committed our lives to knowing him better, loving him better, and following him wherever he leads us.
Beautiful. Italiano?
In italiano lo scopo della nostra vita, il senso della vita è imparare a conoscere Gesù Cristo, perché Dio ci ha creati e vuole una relazione con noi e quindi siamo su questa terra per imparare a conoscerlo, per diventare più come Lui e sì.
Any other meanings of life? You'd
Just
like to add?
to supplement that, yeah, this leads to love. You know,
Yeah.
Siamo amati per poter amare gli altri. E noi crediamo che quell'amore si trova in Dio, in Gesù Cristo, e sorry, in English. So it's all about love. We are loved, and we believe we find this love in God and Jesus, and it's always to then be able to share with the people around us.
So we're here to express our love and connection to people, and to follow in the, I suppose for people who aren't religious, but to follow in the good messages that Jesus, obviously, who is such a great guy, that he would be projecting out. So just to be good human beings.
Yeah.
So why are we here? Except that, why are we here? What's the purpose?
For example, if Jesus aside and all that kind of stuff, like for somebody who hasn't experienced that joy or that meeting with Jesus or the love of God or whatever, just in general, human beings, where do you think we might be?
We're here to journey together.
Beautiful.
I mean, we need each other, and nowadays we are tempted to live like isolated lives, and social media makes us believe that we're all connected, but it's not possible to be friends with 500 people. So I would say the meaning of life is to really create a connection, as you said, with your tribe, and invest in one another's lives. Be there through the hard times. Let them put their masks down and live in authenticity and vulnerability, and we want to help each other become the best version of ourselves.
Wow. Wow, if I could get that on a t-shirt. That was beautiful.
On the back of that.
Would you be able to say a little bit in Italian? Because it was so gorgeous. It was so beautiful.
Sì, allora lo scopo della nostra vita è fare questa, vivere insieme in comunità, essere una famiglia, aiutarci a vicenda a diventare la migliore versione di noi stessi.
That's so great, guys. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, question number 4. Do you want to field it?
Sure. What's this?
Magic.
Oh, the magic. Oh yeah. If you guys had a magic wand, what would you do? Like one.
Like it's a two-parter. What's the biggest problems in the world, and how would you solve them if you had
With
a
your
magic
magic
wand?
wand.
Just another little light.
It's a good one for Jessica.
I love those. So I can answer in a, like, not, it doesn't have to be light, like I would have sunshine every day. Okay, good. If I could solve a problem with a magic wand, I would solve the problem of human trafficking and the trafficking of children, which is something that is
many
really
people
a
talk about.
burden for me, and a passion that I have. There's so many children that are trafficked every year. There's so many little girls that live in prostitution, and if I could, I would change their lives. Andy Stanley said you cannot change everyone's life, but for someone you can change all of their life. So since I don't have a magic wand, I want to really make an effort to really be an answer to that problem in all the realities that I am.
Wow, like it's really interesting you brought up that issue, because right now in the world there's a couple of new documentaries and films coming out. This is the darkest of the underbelly of humanity.
No one
that
wants to talk about
we
it.
don't want to talk about because it's so horrific, that we prefer to kind of turn a blind eye because it is such a poisonous energy, and so it's really wonderful that I'm so happy. We haven't spoken about these questions in advance. This is all live. I'm just so happy you're sharing a light to that, because many people don't believe it. They think it's all just runaways and silly things, but it's not.
No.
It's an organised stuff that's happening, and it's really, we have to protect our children, and that's for me the children are most. It doesn't matter where you're from, what colour your skin is, what religion you are. Children, we have to protect the children, and little lives matter. You know?
Absolutely. And my sister worked with the anti-trafficking department of the Salvation Army, and she used to say, like, traffickers are so well organized and we need to do better. And I think that's what we need to do, and the way we do it is to bring awareness. It's not something that happens far away. It happens everywhere, and we need to do something.
Oh my goodness.
One really practical thing connecting with what Jessica said is we all come into contact with people who may be vulnerable, whether it's children or foreigners, or and maybe we can't solve the whole problem, but we can be there for one vulnerable person, if we have the possibility.
But if everybody's being there for one vulnerable person, then there's no more vulnerable people.
And just to put numbers, I think there's something like 30 million estimated slaves in the world today.
30 million.
So just to say, it is a real serious issue, and it's happening, as you said, all over.
Mining cobalt and all kinds of things.
And mainly
children, and mainly women, and it's just. you please say a little bit of an Italian, because I just really would love this to go out. I know you guys are short for time. We haven't got too long.
No, yeah, so se avessi una bacchetta magica per risolvere uno dei problemi di questo mondo, cercherei di risolvere il problema della tratta degli umani e soprattutto dei bambini, perché è una cosa che mi sta tanto a cuore e ovviamente sembra un problema enorme, ma appunto con la magia potrei risolverlo. Ma visto che non ho la magia, quello che posso fare è cercare di impegnarmi nella relazione con il prossimo, con le persone che sono vulnerabili nelle nostre comunità, con gli immigrati, con gli stranieri, con dei bambini che vediamo che non sono seguiti dai loro genitori. Possiamo essere noi le persone che li proteggono e che si assicurano che loro possano avere un futuro migliore, con speranza.
E dare un po' di awareness, consapevolezza a questo problema che I don't know what trafficking children would be in Italy.
Tratta di bambini.
Proprio tratta. That's very, very important. Grazie ragazzi.
Prego.
Got one last question. This is the easiest one.
Oh my gosh.
It's nothing. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Oh, you forgot.
I keep forgetting. Oh yeah. So in your guys' opinion, what happens after we die?
Something light.
You said it was easy.
I think, we believe in Jesus, so I think that when we die, at some point we will all be reunited into a new earth, a new heaven, under a new heaven, and we will live the way we were intended to be living, in community and fellowship with the Lord and with nature and with one another, at peace. There will be no more tears and no more pain and no more sorrow, and we will just be complete at last. Sì, allora, quello che crediamo, cosa c'è dopo la morte? Noi crediamo in Gesù Cristo e quindi crediamo che dopo la morte saremo riuniti con il Signore, ci sarà una nuova terra, un nuovo cielo e vivremo in perfetta armonia con il Signore, gli uni con gli altri, con la terra, e non ci saranno lacrime, non ci saranno ferite, non ci sarà malattia e saremo finalmente a casa, completi.
Chris,
I don't know if I have anything to add.
what's the exact moment? What do you think? What does your imagination tell you? The exact moment of the last batttle di cuore.
Okay.
What happens?
No, I think there is rest, and then I don't know how long that rest lasts, but then, as Jessica said, Jesus is coming back to make everything new and right on this earth. New earth, new heavens. The Bible talks about that. Jesus talks about that. And so whatever it is, it's going to be amazing, beautiful, and he's going to put right the things that we as humans have kind of made wrong.
We've made wrong stuff, have we?
Yeah, we've made a big mess of a lot of things. And so yeah, my vision of after death, I take mostly from the Bible, and yeah, what Jessica said. There's probably, I don't know what happens in that time of sleeping or rest, or if it's just gonna be like right away with Jesus. But that's what I see. Allora, in italiano, forse c'è un periodo di riposo. Ma prima o poi tornerà il Signore per mettere a posto la terra, nuova terra, nuovo cielo, e saremo con Lui. Sì, Lui mette a posto tutto che abbiamo sbagliato qua.
And just as like an extra question, which we won't ask everybody, but just seeing as you guys are quite strong in your faith, a lot of people have been talking about this kind of end of times thing, that we're living in quite biblical times at the moment, and just with so much stuff going on, that some people believe that the second coming, because obviously there's some people who believe it quite literally. What do you guys feel about that? Do you think in our lifetimes, do you think that's happening right now? Do you think there will be something end of day, I do
No, not in
not
a
in
bad
a negative
sense.
way
No, no.
necessarily.
I mean,
but do you think
revelation
there's
of
going
the
to
true meaning
Yeah.
of apocalypse.
I mean, when you see like what happened in the pandemic, and there's many Bible verses that talk about like hearing rumors of war and pestilence and fires and all of that, and you're like, yep, that's 2020, right? For me, it doesn't matter when these things happen. I just want to live my life every day ready. I want to live every day my life with love and with grace and trying to be like Jesus, because for him like 100 years is like a day, so it doesn't, none of us know, right? It could be, yes, it does feel like an end time thing with all the things that happen, but God wants for everyone to come and return to him. So not everybody has heard the good news of Jesus Christ, so for sure it's not going to happen today or tomorrow.
Okay.
So my job is to make it happen quicker. So I'm going to keep telling people about Jesus. That's all I can focus on.
That's
I'll
lovely.
just say what Jesus said. Nobody knows when. This is what Jesus said. There are signs which show that we're closer, always closer. But he said the end will come like a thief in the night. So it could be any time. And as Jessica said, that's how I approach it. I need to be ready and show his love and grace and compassion, and the rest is kind of details. There's lots of interpretations on the book of Revelation. Is this, is this, that? But what we all know is
He's coming back.
it's coming. That's what.
Okay.
Vedere piccolo in italiano.
Sì, allora noi crediamo che Gesù tornerà, e credo che la cosa importante non è cercare di capire quando, perché nessuno sa quando il Signore tornerà, Gesù lo dice, nessuno lo sa. Quello che posso fare io è assicurarmi di vivere la mia vita in un modo che porti onore al nome del Signore, e sappiamo che il desiderio di Dio è che tutte le persone imparino a conoscere Gesù Cristo, e quindi finché quel momento non sarà arrivato Gesù non tornerà, e quindi il mio compito è di affrettare il suo ritorno parlando a tutti di Gesù Cristo.
Bello, e tu credi anche che c'è un momento nella storia adesso un po' particolare che stiamo...
Sì, assolutamente.
adesso c'è un po' di...
Sì, ci sono tante cose. Quando leggiamo la Bibbia diciamo ah sì, sembra che anche quando c'è stata la pandemia ci sono state le alluvioni, i fuochi in California e tutto quello, il 2020 sembrava proprio tirato dalla Bibbia, dalle profezie, però poi siamo ancora qui. E quindi per noi, per Dio, 1000 anni sono come un giorno, quindi non sappiamo quanto tempo, perché Lui è buono e grazioso e vuole che tutti tornino a Lui. Quindi sì, stiamo vivendo tempi strani, ma che non si sa quanto strano possono ancora essere o diventare.
Sì, speriamo non tanto.
Speriamo non
Speriamo.
tanto, assolutamente.
We don't know how crazy things could get, but we'll see. And I'll just leave one last thing, because I know you guys have to go. Seeing as it's really your mission to spread the good wisdom and love and light of Jesus, JC, as his friends like to call him. What do you feel if you guys could both give just one or two messages to people out there, even if they're not religious, but just something nice that you believe is such a fundamental part of being a human being that people are forgetting?
Jesus, God loves you as you are, and He is wanting to embrace you with His love and forgiveness and grace. So if you've heard messages of an angry God, that's not Jesus. He is full of love and grace, and He wants you to live in freedom. And that's the message I want to share.
Okay.
Beautiful freedom, not just physically, but emotionally, and
Yeah.
internally, and spiritually. That we're not feeling caged in or suppressed or repressed.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I try to say it in Italian. Dio ti ama, non è un Dio arrabbiato con te, ma ti ama tanto e vuole che tu vivi nella libertà.
And what piece of the cornerstone of the teaching of Jesus that you'd like to, or just from your heart, you think that people should hear?
I think there are a lot of people have been wounded by the church or by denominations or by Christians, and so then they turn their backs on faith and they turn their back on Jesus.
They turn their back on all the good stuff there. It's like having a big buffet table, and you just try one thing and it's not very nice. Then you can't ignore everything. That's silly. You know?
Yeah, so I would encourage you to, for a moment, forget everything you know about church and religion, and get to know Jesus. Take your Bible, or start with Matthew or with John, and just underline with a blue pencil all the things you learn about Jesus, who he is, what he does, what he's saying, and get to know him, because he's the one we're following. And also, don't expect Christians to be perfect. We're not perfect. Jesus didn't come to make us perfect. We're just trying to be like him, and at times we make mistakes, but that doesn't reflect on Jesus. Okay, so I would say fix your eyes on Jesus, because he's the answer and he's everything you've been looking for.
And watch The Chosen, which we
Yes,
have watched.
absolutely.
The Chosen is an amazing series on Angel. It's by
Angel Studios.
And
It's a good way to get to know Jesus.
Yeah.
for somebody who I did not grow up religious, and I'm of no religious denomination. But for me, when I watched that show, I don't know, something that really affected me. We watched it in a very short period of time.
Definitely captured something in a bottle which is common to all of us, you know, in terms of what we're connected, how we're connected, and what we're all made of.
And just the beauty of just,
beauty of,
you know, treat, just the simpleness of treat other people how you would like to be treated yourself. This isn't brain science. Like this is pretty simple stuff. Just be kind, because it feels good to be good.
Yes, absolutely.
And in Italian, anything else you guys want to say? Or?
Did we say it in Italian?
You didn't say the last bit in Italian.
No, dimentica quello che sai della Chiesa e della religione e impara a conoscere Gesù Cristo. Apri la tua Bibbia, prendi il Vangelo di Giovanni con una matita blu e sottolinea tutte le cose che lui ha detto, quello che ha fatto, quello che scopri su di lui, e impara a conoscere lui, perché è lui colui che seguiamo. E se la Chiesa ti ha ferito, dei credenti ti hanno ferito, ricorda, noi non siamo perfetti, stiamo solo cercando di seguire il Signore e di camminare secondo la sua volontà, quindi non lasciare che una persona ti tolga il piacere e la gioia di conoscere Gesù Cristo.
Beautiful, thanks. Well, these guys have been here
8 years.
8 years. They've been here in Northern Italy, and they're about to embark on a brand new adventure in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we're leaving Monday.
Monday you're leaving.
So it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
They're going to Florida. So any Floridians, is that what they're called?
Floridians.
that are over there. If you're watching this video, you guys are going to be
St. Petersburg. Come and see us at
not
the
the Russian one.
No.
And they're really fantastic people. And thank you guys so much
you.
for your time. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Really, really
Absolute pleasure to have met you guys.
Yes.
You're just spreading so much love and light, and love it continue.
Thank you.
so much.
Bye. Follow me to our garden.
Wow, this is such a lovely little vegetable garden.
That's our community garden. We plant vegetables so we can use them for our community cafe. So we have a little bit of eggplants over here.
So aubergine or melanzane.
Yes,
sweet.
melanzane.
They're great. How beautiful.
Pomodori, of course, tomatoes.
Lovely. They're so big.
Some spicy little peppers
Oh
there.
wow. Just a couple of spicy guys. That's so nice.
Here we have some sage. You can smell it.
Oh, sage is the best, guys.
Yeah,
Sage
you can.
tea is so good for
Oh,
you
yeah?
as well. It's amazing. Yeah.
And I don't know how you call this in English.
Chives.
Ah, yes, chives, erba, cipollina. We have some thyme, some salads, mint, of course, because mint is delicious. We have some strawberries coming, and I planted some raspberries.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's so nice, because the people that now take over from you will have this lovely garden.
Yes.
And how beautiful is that? That all this stuff was planted without you knowing that you're going to be here for it.
Absolutely, and we kept planting some things because we wanted to leave them for people to enjoy. So there's jasmine, I think, there.
Gorgeous.
This is our olive tree. We went to Israel and I fell in love with olive trees, so I planted one. I bought it in IKEA. It's not the same.
I thought it was from Israel. You're going to say. And I went
No,
and I put this
you
in
can
my-
buy them for $1,000.
Just 1,000.
Just
that's great.
1,000.
Oh, this is so
zucchinis
lovely.
here,
Yeah, we have zucchini over here.
The flowers are so lovely. It's such a lovely wild little. See, this is a very small space, guys, but you can still, even in a
Maximise it.
tiny space, you can have a lovely little garden. Hey guys, we're actually here with Jessica from Salvation Army, and we're going to be doing a new segment where we're going to be spreading awareness on things that, with people that we meet that feel that that other people need a voice, and so I'm here with Jessica, and she would like to spread awareness on. We spoke already about the huge children trafficking problem in the world that's really brushed under the rug because people don't want to acknowledge it because it really is so horrific.
Yeah.
And you were saying that a lot of the time in the orphanages there's a big problem, not just with abuse and trauma, but when they reach the age of 18 they're kicked out and they have no choice but to either sell their bodies or just they can't take it and they commit suicide.
Exactly. So it's like when I was researching adoption in a lot of countries, many people want to adopt babies, so up to 1 year old or 2 years old. But the thing is that the orphanages are full of children up to 17, 18 years old, and they need a mom and they need a dad. And if they've lived all of their life in an orphanage, when they age out, what do they get to do? As the girls who need to provide for themselves, they end up on the street in prostitution, and a lot of them are so hopeless that they commit suicide. And I think a lot of times we think about solving the world's problem as, okay, I need to solve human trafficking. You and I are not going to solve that issue, but you and I can adopt a child. We can adopt an older girl and give her a home and give her like a family and support. So I think, and Andy Stanley says we cannot change the world for everyone, but for one child you can change her world. And so why not do that? Like adoption is not always easy, but it's something that we're called to do. And like even in the Bible, in James, it says that the religion that God loves is the one that takes care of the orphan and the widow, and that's what we're called to do. They're our family, and we want to provide for them and give them a safe space where they can blossom into the women that they were meant to be.
Beautiful. It's really nice. That's really important. And you know, in life there's so many times that I think it's so much easier to turn a blind eye on horrific things that go on, and we are living in a world where so many travesties go on that we can sometimes feel it's too much. And of course all these wonderful charities are there and they're fantastic, but I think getting awareness on certain more kind of horrible subjects is really important. It's getting the light out there, and absolutely on the trafficking situation, as we mentioned earlier on in the interview, there's a new film coming out. There's two new films. One is a documentary, one is a film. Jim Caviezel's the other one,
and I think
and then Mel Gibson's trying to do a documentary on it. So these type of films have been suppressed for so long because
there are powers.
The powers of be, as you were talking about, they're more organized than us. They've been doing this for a very long time, and they're extremely influential and extremely powerful people who, you know, have, you know, their bases in Hollywood, and no one really wants to talk about that because we all love our movies and our TV shows, but that's where it starts, and so many young girls as well go to Hollywood to try and make it. We all know what happens to that, but it's the children that really something needs to be done about that.
And at the heart of it is a misconception of sexuality, right? Because then somebody thinks they have a right over somebody else's body. And so what can we do? There again, we are moms of boys. We can raise our boys to have a better understanding of sexuality and consent and what it means to love a woman. Like, not just for her body, and just, it's not for grabs. Like, women's bodies are not for grabs. Like, you need to respect them and honor them. So again, there we think, well, it's too big of a problem for us to solve. But no, I have two boys, and I'm going to raise them in such a way that they respect women. They are protectors and defenders of women.
But that's the instinct that comes to
that
protect.
Is the instinct. Not because they're weaker, but because since forever, we've been the ones that have been put down, right? And so a lot of times we're not able to defend ourselves, and we need men who can step up and step in and be our defenders in situations like that, be the defenders of little girls or teenage girls. And it all goes back also to pornography and all of that, right? That pornography is a distortion of sexuality. That's not what God had intended for sex to be about. And so if we can resolve these problems, we're going to be able to make a change on the macro level.
It's actually fantastic. Rather than concentrating on all of the aftermath of all these explosions, let's go to the source. Let's teach our boys the right way. Let's start bringing more wholesome ideology into it, because everything has gotten so distorted and twisted, and everyone's just trying to be so. I think in our search for meaning and our search for identity, we end up searching in all the wrong places, but we end up kind of going to these extremes where we're not happy. We're just trying to find something, find ourselves, find our identity, but we can't do it in all the wrong places.
No, and that's what children are doing in social media. They go at 11 or 12 and they post videos of themselves half naked. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Because you think they're getting the attention.
Love.
But the attention is, again, a sexualized attention. Instead, what you're longing for is to feel loved for who you are. And so as parents, we need to make sure to set boundaries for social media, and we need to be present in our children's lives.
Yes.
Because
when they hit 13, 14,
absolutely,
you don't have to just be like, well, they can make their own lunch, so I don't need to worry
absolutely
about
not. They need to be connected. They need to know
guided.
that and there is no cell phone in your room, no internet in your room, because we know that it's just like a rabbit hole. So we're going to have meals together. We're going to talk about the things that worry you and that you're passionate about, and we're going to be there. And home is going to be where you feel safe. If I can give you that attention, then my child is not going to need someone to put a like on a post. So it's all connected, right?
It all comes back to the home, because that's where human beings are created. They're in the home, and we have to make sure to spend time with our babies to let them know that their value, their worth. So as you said, they won't have this hunger and try and search it
in the wrong places.
Wow, Jessica, I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you for having me.
I just very excited for this new part of the videos of just sharing awareness.
Yep.
And if there's anything else you want to say, feel free to say.
That's it. Thank you so much.
And good luck next week going to Florida. And I just know your light is going to touch so many people.
Thank you.
And it's going to be wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.